for the day. Let's just cut to it. Fez or no fez, turban or no turban, supposedly conscious though clearly not awake or not. Your track record is going to demonstrate whatever in the world you're doing or not doing for all to see. Okay? Either you are making available institutions on your own terms, meaning unencumbered, or you're not. You're either providing viable options and solutions that save lives or improve the quality of lives on your own terms, or you're not. When you're not doing it, it shows. Because those within your sphere of influence, they are the evidence. How they think, act, and speak is the evidence. How they proceed is the evidence. What they have available to engage in industry, commerce, and trade on their own terms, that is the evidence. Whatever monetary policy you have set and maintained, that is the evidence. And when you take a look at what's happening unto our kith and kindred directly en masse, for generations I might add, let's call it what it is. You have parties that allege themselves to be doing things for the Ummah, for the quote-unquote community. I'm like, well, all right, let's see what the evidence has to say. Because for the most part, fez or no fez, turban or no turban, conscious, though clearly not awake or not, what you're seeing is, for the most part, our women are not there where they should be in their mind. And that's because they are boys in men's bodies, sperm donors as opposed to fathers. Just because you're a dad doesn't make you a father. So because we have failed, we are failing in general. Not all, but we are failing in general. What does that mean? That means she is not commanding much better than what she's getting right now. So men have devolved into boys in men's bodies, and in some cases, boys insisting on acting like little girls. Socially engineered by the hostiles. Chemically engineered by the hostiles and their prenatal drugs that basically effeminate the male, butch up, as they say, the female, moving to shrink our manhood and straighten out the curves of our women. Eugenics 101, as I've spoken about over and over with y'all. You don't know how this goes. So now, what do you have? We have boys and men's bodies. So now, our women are vulnerable and have increasingly become little girls in women's bodies. Everyone's out of balance. Everyone's out of kilter. It's a very bad scene. Familyhood to familyhood, this is what you see. So to pound on your chest and say that you are a man and have no evidence to demonstrate that you take care of food, clothing, and shelter on your own terms, not merely as a private household, I'm talking about collective household. You can't be around 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years or more and not have institutions in place on your own terms and then call yourself a man. You can't do it. You cannot. You're a boy. And so parties recognize who we are and how we proceed. We make it plain. You can't come into the Amexem-Moor-Empire and bring that thought process with you. That's why a lot of the folks that you came with are not here anymore. That's why a lot of the faces that folks used to recognize are not here anymore. And that's why you see a lot of folks when it comes to this jurisdiction and venue, and those that do need to be clear, as you always hear us say from the time you walk in the door. Wipe off your feet and leave that crap outside. You can't bring that thought process here. You can't do it. When you come to this jurisdiction and venue, we train, we improvise, we adapt, we overcome, we implement to make sure that our industry, commerce, and trade on our own terms is in fact unencumbered and stays that way. You want to be in a boy, you want to be a boy in a man's body, you do that elsewhere, but you won't do it here. Not and think you're going to get to stay here. I've had no reports from my district ambassadors or even my lieutenant ambassadors of them being approached by men who say they're looking to obligate unto a particular woman. I've been approached a few times on this topic, and my immediate response is, romance is easy. Clothes come off in less than 60 seconds. What is your plan? Convince me. Head of the household, I require you convince me. Why? How? How do you take care of her food, clothing, and shelter needs and some of her desires? If she gets sick, does she have offspring? What are your plans? What are your backup plans? To enlighten, to enhance, to improve the quality of life. What is your plan? What are your backup plans? Convince me. This is what needs to be addressed on a regular basis. And because it is not, as I said earlier, for the most part, there's been a de-evolution. And by default, our kith and kindred are generally boys and men's bodies because those questions are not being asked. And now she demands less, so our women have gone from being supremes to being ratchet. And it happened on our watch. Yeah, it's our fault. When I say our, if you are a male and you're dark hue, fez or no fez, turban or no turban, allegedly conscious or not, awake or not, it happened on our watch. To fix this mess, it happens on our watch. So we must unlearn that we may learn. And in this jurisdiction and venue, it's exactly what we do. So folks can cry about the conditions, or they can step up and do something about it. And if you're not part of the solution, you absolutely positively are the problem. That's all there is to that. So folks need to decide what side of the fence they're on. Matter of fact, get off the fence, because you have to ante up and kick in and do your duty, obligation, and responsibility. Because this thing gets fixed household by household, familyhood by familyhood. That's just the way it goes until we get this thing across the planetary home, where folks decide to think, act, and speak like they got some sense. And that's just about as plain as I know how to make it, and be genuine and be real, and make sure our folks get the message, get the point, and govern themselves accordingly.